So last week, our women's class, it's called Wild Ladies. That name cracks me up every time. But the topic was about faith. It was talking about the nobleman in John 4:43 through 54, when he, paraphrasing this story, he traveled 20, this is what really stood out to me in that. He traveled 20 miles to get to Jesus. He heard that Jesus was there, but he traveled and asked Jesus to heal his son. So the crazy things about this is that he was a official, and he had a really I don't know, what is the word? I don't know what it is, but he was a high-ranking person, officer type thing. And he addressed Jesus as sir, that's with humility. He was risking his reputation because Jesus was not looked at. He was looked at as a rebel. He didn't obey the religious laws and all that stuff. So, but something inside him knew that if he got to Jesus, Jesus could heal his son. And so he did get to Jesus. He traveled 20,000 miles. He risked his reputation. He believed who Jesus was. And Jesus didn't go back to this man's house. He said, go, your son lives, or he will live, or your son is healed. And he believed him, and he went back home, and his son was healed. So his faith was huge. He activated his faith. And when this story was being told in our class, the Lord reminded me how great of a gift faith is. It feels like a gift anyway. Because I remember praying, and I remember declaring the word of God, and I remember believing with my whole being, the feeling of believing with my whole being. It was without a shadow of a doubt, I knew God would and could take care of what I was asking. And for a split second, my thoughts started to shift, and I remember thinking, well, I don't know. I'm asking so much. This is so much. I don't even know how you would be able to take care of this. I can't even see. So my prayers changed from declaring and believing the word of God to doubting the word of God. It was so strange. And then I started to see this picture of this fishbowl that was clear and free, and that represented full faith, full belief. And then I saw this tiny little water droplet start to form, and it was trying to fill the free space. And that represented doubt. It was so tiny. The doubt was so small. I still to this day, I'm the smallest thought of, well, Lord, this is so much I'm asking, opens the door to a floodgate of disbelief. My faith, that I could feel with my whole body, which I feel like is a gift to have faith like that. The faith that I could feel with my whole body was instantly gone because I questioned. And I just remember I was like, man, I just don't know how you're going to do this. I just can't. And then I saw that picture of the doubt, and I didn't see anything after that, but I heard the Lord so calmly and quietly say, Julia, it's not a long shot for me. And bam, I could see that fishbowl was free and clear again. There wasn't an ounce of doubt, and I could feel my whole body believing again. I could feel it from my head to my toes that I knew without a shadow of a doubt that the Lord was going to take care of what I was asking. It didn't matter how big it was. It didn't matter how heavy it felt. It didn't matter. It just didn't matter. All that matters is I knew like that man knew. And I picked myself back up spiritually, and I went back to the place of knowing and believing. And we were talking about in class how it's like you have to pick yourself up spiritually sometimes. This man traveled 20 miles. Any of y'all gonna walk 20 miles? I don't think so. Maybe he had a horse. I don't know. But sometimes you got to pick yourself up spiritually, and it's hard when you feel like you can't pray from a place of faith because you feel like all you can pray from is a place of defeat. But I'm here to tell you, listen for the Lord's voice, because we also were talking about in class how once Jesus spoke, it was done. He said, your son is healed, go. That man left. And the authority that Christ has in what he says, when he said it wasn't a long shot for him, I didn't have any more doubt, because the authority of Christ had spoken. And what he says has to happen. And you stand on what he says. You have faith in what he says. You believe with your whole body, heart, mind, soul, what he says, and you stand on it. I love this line. A spiritual mentor has said this for years, but you stand on it until it is so. And I'm happy to testify that the Lord did take care of what I asked for, because he's good. You can believe. You can stand and you can trust. All of that takes effort. But the authority of Christ is already spoken in the Word of God. When he gives you an extra something like, Julia, it's not a long shot for me. It's not hard for him. What felt so hard is not hard for him. What felt so heavy is not heavy for him. There's nothing that can't be undone. There's nothing that can't be righted. So, I don't know. Stand, trust, have faith. God comes through every single time. Every single time.